Hey guys, welcome to the stream. So last week's audio levels were way off, and I apologize about that because it was actually one of the better weeks to have a commentary on what I was doing, because last week I ran with 1700 spirit as holy to show what I play like with no mana. So I was talking about all of the different mana making decisions that I was doing during the given fight, but you can't hear it because my music was, and the game sound was just overpowering. It's because I had another program that I was testing out running. My live stream has a really good quality because I don't do just the standard XSplitter or whatever that people are using to broadcast. So I have 11 different programs open, and one of the new ones I threw in there was just bad news. But because it was bad, instead of running Shadow this week, which is kind of what I wanted to do, I am running as Holy again with no mana. So you'll get to see again for the second time how I operate with no mana, and I get to be stressed again all night. I'm out of position for Mass Dispel. Yeah, my keybinds are all messed up because I also did some UI changes. I'm using I've used this add-on before, but not as extensively as I'm using it now. It's called Gnosis, and it's my replacement for the Quartz cast bar. So that's what I'm using nowadays. And the reason I switched over to it instead of using Quartz is because I started playing a Warlock again, and my channel times, which was just something I needed to fix in my Priest anyway, were not showing up correctly. Like when you go to refresh a channel, it would refresh the whole channel time and say that there's 3 ticks left, when really there was actually 4 ticks on that next channel, and it wasn't adjusting dynamically. I'm not going to go any further until I make sure the sound is worked out, so hang on just a second while I tell a few people who are watching the stream it sounds okay. Okay. I think I've worked it out. Alright. I did a readjustment of the audio levels right before I did this, but I just wanted to make extra sure that everything is lining up correctly. For those of you who are curious about what those programs are that I'm using, I use DxTory to capture my screen. Fraps works as well. I used to use Xfire, but the Xfire, after it came out of beta, doesn't like to play well on my graphics card. Or at least I noticed a loss of quality. And my hard drives are kind of going bad, and DxTory can dynamically adjust the frames per second. Like if there's a drop frame because my hard drive skips or something, which is what it's doing, it's clicking, it can adjust for that. So that's why I use DxTory now. So that's my screen capture. I encode it, or I guess I put my webcam together with an ArcSop software that came with my webcam. And I put the webcam software together with DxTory in a program called SplitCam. I encode SplitCam into something called Flash Media Encoder. The way I do my audio levels is I have my audio level in a virtual sound mixer. The sound mixer software is a combination of virtual audio streamer and virtual cable. Virtual audio cable is how I have all of the different cables set up, telling them which channels to go to, and the mixer puts them all together in the virtual audio streamer, and then I put that channel into the Flash Media Encoder as well. I have streamed my music from my iTunes playlist, which I bought. It's licensed to me, but sometimes like for the promotional material that I've been using, sometimes I'll use the YouTube promotional material, which is free to use. It's another fair use program, and I stream that just directly from YouTube and have that running in the background. So, there's one other program I have open, which is Venturelo, and then I have a program that's kind of like backlogging the combat logs running as well. So that's all the programs I used to make this madness. Anyway, so what you missed last week is, probably or you couldn't hear, is I respec. I took out my Archangel and Evangelism talents, replaced them with Surge of Light, because Surge of Light is a mana saving talent. So what that means is I'll be gaming Surge of Light procs, like say I get, you know, like a Surge of Light, I'll use it intelligently or sometimes wait and game it, and then I'll wait for the Serendipity proc to just about fall off before I either use the Serendipity proc or I try to like refresh it with another Surge of Light proc. So that's gaming Surge of Light, that's a mana saving talent. Another thing I do is I stand stance out of Inner Will and Inner Fire, and I do that because it is a throughput loss to like jump out, use an instant, jump back in again, but I'm doing that because the goal is not to do like max throughput, it's to save mana. So, and I'm just gonna go mana crap like crazy on this fight because my voodoo's still acting up frames wise. So. It's okay to just like blow all my mana here, but my other mana cooldowns are I have Spirit of Redemption, which is technically a mana cooldown. It's going to exist that way in the next expansion as well. So if I'm really low on mana and I don't have cooldowns or something, I'm probably going to just intentionally die so I can get the free Spirit of Redemption mana. I did respec to take Veiled Shadows, and that's because you can get, I mean, not in this fight, but in longer fights, like 7 minutes, is when I'm probably going to try to get it to line up with my 2 int procs. The 2 int procs are the power auras that show up on my screen, and I also added a new power aura that shows when my haste proc goes off on this stupid trinket, because when that haste proc goes off, it will burn my mana a lot faster, so I need to know when it's active. And currently I can't use my Chakra Chastise, and I can't use Circle of Healing because my keybinds are set to Discipline, so if you're wondering like why I'm doing that. Although it's not like we're going to take damage here anyway. Oh, my other mana saving talent is Desperate Prayer. I have Desperate Prayer and I just used it because we're getting close to the end of the fight, and my tank's gonna... I just tried to put Guardian Spirit on my tank, which is also not keybound because my voodoo key bindings are off, but Guardian Spirit is also, like my 2 talents that I use for mana saving is I try to use Desperate Prayer, instead of like to save my life, I use it to save mana, so you'll see me trying to use it on cooldown when possible. I also use, my Divine Hymn is a mana saving, so I'll try to use Divine Hymn instead of like when I need throughput, sometimes I'll use it for mana. And I'll also use, let's see, there's a few other tricks. I'll do a lot more cancel casting tonight, because right now my spirit is so low that heal as a spell is not mana neutral, which means that when I cast the heal spell, my mana actually does go down every time I cast a heal. So anytime I'm casting something tonight, it will be lost mana. There's no way to net gain it by I'd have to just sit around and not cast. And the rule is always be casting. You can still do the always be casting rule with this low of a spirit, you just have to be really good at canceling the end of your cast if it's not going to be 100% effective on your heal. So those are the differences that I'm playing tonight.
A tide of darkness sweeps from the baking
Where are we going? Okay, my Circle of Healing's back up again. Good. Well, we're just kind of sitting around. I'll just go through my gear and show you like what my reforges are. I still have base spirit on my gear, and I don't have like off pieces that don't have spirit. I was going to try to get to about 1k spirit, but unfortunately 1700 is the lowest I could get. I'm not using my I do have the trinket from Spine, but I'm not using it because I want to show what it looks like when I don't have mana. So I have my 2 in trinkets equipped instead. But I'm reforged on any piece of gear that had Spirit. I either reforged to Haste or Mastery, and if there was no Spirit in the gear to begin with and it was Haste and Mastery, I left it alone, but if it was crit, I'd reforged to either Haste or Mastery. So basically I'm maximizing Haste and Mastery on everything tonight. That means instead of like playing with my Mastery the way I usually do, I'm going to be using it tonight as a mana saver. So what I'll do is like I'll cast something like a Prayer of Healing, and then instead of casting and chain another one, because I'm trying to do those maximum amount of casts per time, or per cast time or whatever, I'll wait and not cast, because I'll just let my Mastery do the work or something. Anyway. This trash is like super easy, even with low Spirit trash is like stupid easy. I'm just gonna keep trying to show my gear so you can see how the big forges go. Belt that I got last week will make this week's clear a little bit easier. I did use the belt last week that, let's see if I still have it in my bags or if I disenchanted it. Alright, I disenchanted it, but the belt I had last week was one you can buy with Valor points. It was the DPS belt that didn't have any Spirit on it. But this week, I did pick this up, and the belt that I had originally from last week actually didn't have epic gems in it, so I have like a bigger in pool this week to work with because I got this upgrade in gear. One piece of gear away from best in slot. I'm not going to go for the gloves on Spine, so all I need is the ring from Dragon Soul. That has a random chance to drop. Okay, so let's do a demonstration of all of my instants. What I'm doing now is I'm jumping into Inner Will. I'll cast a bunch of stuff in Inner Will, which is all my instants. Then I'll go back to Inner Fire. And I'll cast my direct heals. And what that does, right now my haste rocket, my trinket is procced on haste. So that's why I'm cancel casting my heals. But it is a mana saving ability. It's not a throughput saving ability, but the goal is not throughput, it's mana. Okay, I'm just gonna go mana happy here because I'm about to lose it all anyway. Really trying to make use of gaming my Surge of Light procs here. That's what I'm trying to do to save mana, and I'm also still doing that stance dancing for Inner Will. I just used Desperate Prayer because I was below 50% health and it would be 100% effective. So, the more you know. And I was waiting for that Serendipity proc to expire. Basically, I was trying to game for another Surge of Light proc by doing my instant heals, even though I wasn't doing a lot of direct heals. There is that 6% chance it can happen. So I waited until the very end of its duration before casting it, and although it wasn't 100% fully effective, he was moving, so theoretically my Echoes of Light would stack on him while he was moving and he still had the buff on him. just going to use Hymn of Hope now because I used my Shadow Fiend in the last, and since the boss is going to die, he's already at like half health, I'm not afraid of getting another green something or blowing up our mana. I'm going to use Guardian Spirit for our tank, which I didn't even check to see who's in my raid. I don't actually know who's healing the tank right now, but Prayer of Mending does not do any stacks on the tank, so I'm dropping Prayer of Mending in Inner Will to save mana, of course, on him. I think my Druid's the one on the tank. Raz, are you in the tank right now? Are you healing? Oh wait, I'm in the wrong channel in bed. Oh my goodness. Hey Raz, are you healing right now? Okay, something I'm going to do here now that we're actually being attacked by ads. Alright, we killed them too fast. Well, we killed the ads too fast, but what I wanted to show is kind of the strategy I used when I first did this fight. So, I think last week I only had 2 talents in Test of Faith. This week I have 3 talents in Test of Faith. On this fight, it's really good if you're healing during these purple phases to let the target drop just below 50% of their health to get like a heal off. Now, there's some... I mean, you kind of have to read how fast the damage is coming in on someone if they're taking damage from those ads. Like, if they're below 50% of their health and like 2 other people are below 50% of your health and they're all in your group and you split it up by group, you don't want to obviously do Test of Faith games, but if there's only like 1 or 2 people taking that damage, then you can effectively wait for them to drop below a certain percentage of health. Usually on that fight also, even with low spirit like I'm running, I would put Renew on the people that have aggro on that phase and then refresh Renew because I was in Serenity Chakra. But my Druid was healing in this fight and I didn't know my Shaman wasn't here because I didn't pay attention to who was in the raid, and I didn't know like which group he was healing because I started seeing the counter on the other heals on the other targets going up randomly, and I'm like, okay, why are we crossing over in different groups? So that's why I didn't do Renew rolling there, but normally I would Renew rolls, or roll Renews on that part. Luckily we did not get the hard combo, which is green, yellow, red, and black. We kill green. On that, in an encounter like that, I would tell probably that since I was healing with the Druid, I'd probably have him use like Tranquility first because his HOTS would be effective, and then I would use Divine Hymn, even though my Divine Hymn would multiply on top of his Tranquility. It's because I would want to gain my mana during that first part of the phase to see like how much I could get by with before I started dumping it on AoE heals. Oh, I'm just doing this without even thinking. Surge of Light just then. I waited until it was like about to fall off because I'm not going to have time to drink in between this next bowl, basically. So that's why I did that just now. One more note about my mana. I am glyphed for Circle of Healing right now. So, Circle of Healing, in order for it to be 100% effective, when you have a glyph, means you have to hit it on 6 targets. Otherwise, it would have been better to glyph for the... Like, it would be better for your mana, like healing cast number of healing per mana if you had it on glyphed. So, Instead of like doing Circle of Healing on cooldown or some sort of weird rotation like that, I only waited. I waited out. I'm gonna wait on this Surge of Light proc because there's a lot of other healing going out anyway, and I don't think it's gonna be 100% effective. I could have used it right away on Midvane, who I had my mouse over, but it felt like my druid who's also healing with me was about to do something like a Swift Bend or some sort of instant, so I waited to see if he would do it, and sure enough, like there's an instant heal on it, so since there's an instant heal, I waited and didn't overheal on top of his instant heal. Because I'm running with no spirit this week, it's really critical that I don't overlap my heals on my other healers. And the way I'm doing that is I'm looking at the bars, which might or might not be, I don't know if you can see that in the stream, because it's a good quality stream, but I don't think you can see the difference in the fading as much. But my bars fade to a different color when it shows an incoming heal, and I have that set to just work on any incoming heal at all. So that fading bars, if it's like an incoming heal, I look at it and hold on a second, we're discussing strat, but basically I look at it and see, oh, well, if there's like a green going and I'm not casting something, that means like my shaman is casting something. Was that glitched or something? Yeah, I'm not healing anymore, so good luck. Whoopsie. As long as my fear is on these fights, like if we wipe because I didn't get a heal off or something, and then that would be entirely because I was probably trying to save mana. That might have happened once last week, but it was already on something that was a downhill wipe, which is I think why I got sloppy. But last week's clear, I didn't have any wipes due to me not having any mana, and that means I got home free. If it becomes a problem tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip on a set that has a bunch of spirit, because I have all of these off pieces sitting, reforged 2 spirit ready to go. Like I have, let's see, I have gloves, I think I have my bracers from tailoring and boots from tailoring, and I have a weapon with heart song, and I have my trinket. So I can effectively get like, I don't know, I think it puts my spirit levels up to 3,800, so I can double my spirit with a few gear swaps if I need it. My light well's on cooldown. When you die and your light well is out, it goes away. It's like a pet peeve about light well. I have a lot of pet peeves about light well, but that's one of the more irritating ones. I'm starting in Sanctuary, but I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna go to Serenity when we stack up for the black phase. Actually, something I just messed up on, probably should have done that, but my Dispel wasn't 100% effective because I was in the inner fire stance instead of inner will. And my haste proc just went off, so I'm going to try to game that with my paladin. He's going to be taking a lot more damage. Always face your back to the direction that you want to go when you're doing your... Can you trank first? Always face your back in the direction that you want to bounce when you have the debuff before you dispel it. And if you're a healer and you're dispelling other people who have the debuff, that's something you always want. I'm going to the right. Okay, so what I'm looking at now is I have a proc of Power Torrent, so I threw up my Shadow Fiend and I'm trying to get more mana back during that proc. It would have been nice to line up my other int proc, but I think I just saw it go off during that black phase. Okay, I'm going to stay in Sanctuary for the start of this phase because it's my turn to Divine Him, and I'm not going to Armor Stance because it's my turn to do the bulk of the healing. I'm going to try to get as close as I can in the middle of the room so I can reach people with my Divine Him, because I think there's only 2 of us healing right now. I think it's just me and the Druid. And hopefully he'll get those people that are far out. But that means it's my job to take care of the 2 ranged who are not leaving out here, first and foremost. I also saw Desperate Prayer just go off, so I know that I have that cooldown once it comes back up again. And I'm going to drop like we're getting close to the end of his health pool here, and for the next black phase, whenever we have it, it's going to, we're going to just like stack in the middle instead of... Trying to let a precast go off, which is hard because we just blew Harrow, so my haste levels are a little high, so that's something to be mindful of when you're gaming that. Crud, I was kind of hoping to get to the black phase, but light well positioning there would be good right in the middle of the room, because in that first part, instead of stacking up by the claw, we're going to take the boss to the middle of the X in that room. We're just going to muscle through the healing because he's about to die anyway. I just got a whisper from the guy I life gripped, which is the warrior when he had to be dispelled. Said nice grip. I wonder if he knows that it wasn't just a grip going on there. It was I got a Surge of Light proc, waited for him to get out, gave him a body and soul to get out faster, and then gripped him back and used a Surge of Light proc on him. He's like sitting on that proc waiting for him to get out. So a lot more than just a life grip there, but I'll take the compliments when I can. I've explained in previous videos kind of how we do that, but basically I've seen for the black phase there's 2 different stacking methods, or at least that I've seen or rated with. One is stack by the claw, like at the start of the black phase, and then kind of fan out and just have people like DPS targets ahead of time. We found that that was really difficult to heal through because the damage incoming is based on how many of those other adds are up. So the bulk of it is when all of the adds are up, and if you're splitting your DPS up to different targets, they're gonna be up for a higher uptime, and then all of that damage is gonna drop at the end of the phase. When we were first doing this, since we're a 10-man and not a 25, we didn't have enough raid cooldowns to just muscle through it. So I think that's what 25s do. In R10 though, we, instead of attacking the claw right away, is we just stood up on that one tentacle in the back of the room while the tank is sitting at the claw away from the raid, and so is the rogue because he has feint and he can cleave. And we just burn down that tentacle right away and use a raid cooldown on that first tentacle, and then we split up. And the way we split up is our warrior uses all his cooldowns on one tentacle and he can burn it down really fast, and then jump back onto the claw and help finish it off, which is being tanked by our tank, and our rogue is also DPSing at full time and cleaving. The two dot classes go to one side of the room and take two adds by themselves and dot cleave the two of them. We found that was quicker to drop those two than to single target one, single target the other, and it was healable. And then same principle applies to the other two classes, which is a mage and a shaman usually. And the mage and the shaman run off and they burn down one tentacle and then go burn down the other tentacle. And as a healer, what you want to show is in your bars how many stacks of that buff is still up, because when people, that you can't control where the ooze is going to go, and it's going to be spread out in random damage, so you can't just like heal through it with your normal AoE rotations most of the time. It's going to be single target triage healing. You want to see like how many of those stacks are up, and kind of the way I do it is I go into mana saving mode and I don't do a whole lot of swift fast heals if it's 4 or less. This is, you know, as much as I say this trash is like stupid and easy, it's actually pretty good if you're learning to triage for the first time. Because, especially if I'm running with no mana right now, I want my renews to be 100% effective. So what I'm doing is I'm seeing like where this tornado is, and when I see people who look like they're going to take that tornado like more than one tick at a time, I guess, is I'm putting a renew on them, and then I'm like refreshing the renew in Serenity stance. So I don't know if it's like super obvious to see like that's the decision making that I'm doing right now, but that's kind of like what I'm thinking about as I'm looking at where the people are and trying to do that. And I know that you get your mana back like whenever one of those AoE phases come out. I mean, the purpose of running this with no spirit isn't to show off EP, it's to show like how I deal with no mana. Okay, now this was a fight I was worried about last week in terms of like how much healing am I going to be able to do. I'm actually going to make sure we're free healing it before I go into this. Good. We are free healing. Music. Last week we were listening to promotional material by Noisia. Well, I don't know how they go by. It looks like Noisia, but it's Vision, backwards and upside down, from the UK. I'm subscribed to UK. What it's called? UK dub. I don't know. I'm part of it. I'm part of like a. It's not a dubstep, but it's like a UK promotional material. We definitely should have wiped there. This is what you get when you play nerfed content, but like what the way we were playing just now, that should have been wiped. I'm putting renew on people now that we're starting to bounce around the room because I know it's going to be 100% effective. And my druid's in tree form. I'm going to wait for him to probably start doing his tranquility, and then I'm going to start doing more like ballsy moves with my mana. But that doesn't matter because we're getting really good at the lightning phase. But if you are struggling with that, it's better to use stuff like tranquility at the end of that phase, you know, for a cast time sequence anyway.
Beware.
Invent, our rogue's like, how did I not recognize the arrow in my eyes? Because he just got picked for a tomb, and Mage is like, don't freak him out, don't freak him out, he's just trash talking you guys, which is true.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beware.
Let's see where people are going. I'll stand in the middle and get one shot. Herp derp. I'm in the middle of the room if you need the help on the spells. There's no one over there by you, I think. Our paladin's covering for my noobness right now. I hope that doesn't wipe the group, because I was an idiot and stood in the middle of the room. That's an example of not making a smart decision in time. I paused because I went to the one half of the room that I thought there was no healer, but it's just because I didn't see our druid running that way. And when I saw the druid running that way, I was like, oh, it's too late. So I decided to backtrack and go across the middle, and I realized that was a huge mistake. You should rest, Shish. Red's taking stacks. If we win, if we like beat this part, it's just this content is way too nerfed. I think we used it. I'll say this, I played like a dumbass, but my paladin just now was like MVP. There was no healer on his side. My warlock was completely frozen in place and couldn't do anything about it. So I saw a bubble, like a paladin bubble, go up on him. Alright. Time to just go stupid with all my heals. Stupid that this content's so nerfed that wasn't wiped. you're doing that on a 10-man, and like this fight is so much harder on 10-man. There's no good way to do the ice stacking debuff. If that's out of control in your raid, I don't know what to tell you. It's stack ranged, I guess, is the best solution that I could come up with. If you're melee heavy, you know, Godspeed. Alright, no more playing like crap. I'm not gonna be slow like I was in the last one. Something I said last week that was covered up by my loud music for this fight, the way I'm gonna do it differently to save mana, is I'm gonna stay in Serenity at the start of this fight. And that's because I'm only gonna be doing spot healing on the tank, basically. I'm gonna let Healing Rain take care of the rest of the light heals for about the first 2 phases. And then I'm going to switch to Sanctuary probably about the halfway point, and depending on my mana, I have to link someone to macro. Depending on my mana, I might go crazy with it. Okay, I had to link that macro, but okay, I had to. I'm like playing like crap now because I'm talking in vent instead of talking just normally. To min-max in this fight, since we're gonna kill it so fast, I'm just gonna start rolling heals. If I'm about 50% of my mana, and especially if I have a mana cooldown up and he's below 50% of his health, I'm just gonna start rolling, because I'm gonna have the red buff. And I looked at the healing that I did on this week last week, and I got the red buff first, but my shaman like way out healed me because I was being so conservative, and I ended the fight with like plenty of mana to spare. So this week I'm gonna like do more to help it out. Actually, you know what? I wonder if he wants to DPS this fight. Okay, finally. I haven't really been able to demonstrate this all night, but I just got like a crit heal. Strat just then was I was healing, and then I got a crit on one heal, and then I stopped, like I just did it again. Instead of healing again, I'm just gonna wait, because that crit heal means that my Mastery Echoes of Light is gonna be twice as powerful. So, in order to avoid overhealing, I'm gonna cut back after I crit, and just like let my Masters of Light do the work. This is going to be, I mean, I have some really good examples if you want to look ahead and see last week's video on Madness. There was a lot of really good crits that I got off where I just canceled past it and let my echoes kick in. And on the rewatch, I noticed that some of those looked like it had some really good timing because of the damage patterns on Madness are actually like really predictable. And if your healers are running out of mana, like especially on the first 3 platforms, it's probably because they're rushing to heal up everyone after a big hit. Like if a tentacle lays down on your raid and hits like 3 people and everyone's flashing or greater healing to get them back up, you don't actually need to heal that fast to get those people back up to full. Oh, sweet seafood. Forgot you were dead. Which is completely my fault. I did a herp derp moment and got caught in the dead center of the room on Hagara just now. Like you should hear me, I'm talking about it in the live stream. it was I don't know. Rhett did some pretty clutch saves there. I think it was the person he handed freedom to, whoever that was. Oh, we have hero for this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade right before combat starts. It's a strategy that your healers should do if you're not doing it already. And then when you heroism, see, we didn't get the exhaustion buff. So when we come out of this phase, all of our DPS are doing lots of damage, but we are not. Playing the Surge Blight game right now to make sure my healing is 100% effective.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay! I just cheered because my Shaman's gonna be out of mana, which means I will have no choice but to actually do true throughput on this like part where I get my haste buff. Someone needs to stay out. Well, you can probably back him up to life again, right? Yeah, pop back to life too. Wait. Oh yeah. This is exciting. We are down several people. Just click the light well. Who gets to stay up? We can do it! Me! Well, I guess I can't do that. The wipe was not my fault, so I'm good. As long as we didn't have mana problems. It's just we didn't press our buttons in time. Oh, I was trying to keep Mariah alive. Anyway. So, on that fight, I mean, I'm trying to show how I look when I'm saving mana, but I kind of wish I would have done this experiment and kept my, like, Fire Lance gear or something, like no Spirit, because right now, I don't have any mana regen, but I have a really big mana pool, because I'm in, like, full 410 gear. If I would have done this in the lower eye level, that might have been more interesting, and you probably would have... It would have felt like the first time I did this fight, mana-wise. Although the boss is dying like 25% faster after these nerfs, and our DPS are way geared, so... It's hard to demonstrate it. You know what, my mana in this fight's gonna be fine as long as our DPS, like as long as we don't lose half our DPS. I'm just gonna roll my heals, including Sanctuary, at the start, and just be expensive. Actually, on this rerun, what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to run out of mana. So let's see if I can do it. Oh, also, last week I did Spinous Discipline because the week before we had some deaths that could have been prevented as long as we had an Absorb mechanic, and without the Absorb mechanic we couldn't do it. I think this week I'm going to try to do it without... I'm going to try to do Spinous Holy, because Madness was a good example of... Madness is a good example of like how I work with like a fixed mana pool, because that fight was long enough that the danger of going was like really high. So, and there's enough damage going out that you'll have to make some poor mana decisions, like casting your instant cast out of the Inner Will stance or an Inner Fire, or you know, those kinds of things. So since I'm going to be in Sanctuary at the start of this particular run, I'm going to start in Inner Will. This is a mana saving trick. Inner Will affects your Sanctuary. I don't know why it's considered an instant cast, but I'm going to be stancing every time I go to refresh Sanctuary, and I'm going to get back into Inner Will. I'm also going to use my Shadow Fiends pretty close to the start, because I don't know how I'm going to be in mana. And if I'm like at 50% and the raid is higher than me, I'm probably going to use Homophobe at a weird time too. That doesn't line up with anything, but in my mind it's to just stay a little bit ahead. And it's because like you won't have the whatever 5-6 seconds to cast Homophobe later on. Who has hair this time? That was to double check and see if like I would have to fade at the beginning here. Can you scoot back a bit?
Of the earth, hear my call. Shield them in its dark hour. The man's defenders from Azeroth.
I'm jumping to Inner Will a bit early here because all my instants I wanted to line up, and because I had the haste proc, so stancing is going to go faster while the haste proc is active. If you're wondering why I jumped like one prayer healing early into Inner Will. I also just pre-casted with my, I had a Serendipity proc and I casted a Prayer of Healing. The reason I did that is because I wanted to get the Mastery stack, because we were going to fade soon, and I was going to let that kind of overheal at first, and then I was going to let the overhealing trickle down into my Mastery and my Glyph of Circle of Healing. Where I can scoot back a bit. Sitting really good on mana right now. My Shadow Fiend just went out and I got it lined up with an Inner proc, so I almost reached a full mana, but right before I reached a full mana it stopped. So that's good. It's good when it lines up like that. have my haste proc active, so I'm going to try to not overheal here. Normally I would take advantage of this haste proc, but as of right now, it's like a negative thing. I'm just going to go into overhealing right now because our Shaman just got the green buff. I also just used Desperate Prayer, drop below 50% health. I've been waiting to drop below 50% health to use Desperate Prayer. Okay, we're saying that our tank might have DC'd, so I'm going to be very conscious of my who has aggro. Like, it's what when you hear something like that, our healer just dropped because of a threat thing or something, we think. So the aggro tables, I don't know. Like apparently, like our healer died because of aggro just now, so it's like I don't know, it's iffy.
I will not fail this world.
Anyway, so just now, the way Fade works in the new next expansion as well is it's kind of going to be like the Warlock Fade, in which it's going to be a threat drop for its duration. So, and you can also glyph for it to do less, like you'll take less incoming damage. So I would say, like I would strongly encourage to at least roll around with the idea of maybe having glyphed Fade and like trying to fade as often as possible, like borderline using that cooldown. Kind of been ignoring like what weapon I've been using all night. I've been doing weapon swaps without audibly saying I'm doing a weapon swap, but this icon right next to my chakra, someone asked me what it was, like how I made it. It's basically just a macro, I think. It's, yeah. Nope, that's not it. Let's see if I can find it. Nope, it's just this first one. So, show tooltip, you can do like a show tooltip, leave it blank, and it'll show whatever the next line of the macro is supposed to cast. If you declare a show tooltip with like a spell or an ability or something, it will always show that icon. You can also show the tooltip for equip slots, and every equip slot on your character is numbered. 16 is the number for a weapon. I think 13 and 12 are trinkets, so it's either 13 or 12 or 13 or 14, I don't remember. But that's all I use, and then it's click-through, so I can still turn, like I use bartender. So the bars that are click-throughable allow me to still turn, and I just need to visually see like what stands to them. So last week's music we were listening to was Noisia, and it was their promotion for their new album that's coming out. It's not the album, it's the promotional set, like an EP kind of. It's free, public licensed, and right now I'm just streaming from the Deftones main website, Deftones videos. I'm kind of talking while I'm playing, but
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beware.
Asking the audience what music do they want to hear. I don't know. What do you want to hear next week? Something I thought about last week, I spent a lot of time in Serenity trying to soak up like I was trying to save mana by being in Serenity and using that instant cast like for Chastise instead of actually like hard casting AoE or something, but even though I'm not spec'd for Renew, there is a lot of movement on this fight like right now, and it would be better if I was in the other stance. It's what I've justified, so that's why I'm just sitting in this other stance. Eee! Stupid fire.
Five, 4, 3.
Yeah, really.
1.
Beware.
Sapper just came out. That one's always an iffy one for us because we're out of raid cooldowns and the Sapper will sometimes pull the melee out of the purple swirl. So you really want to make sure you pre-cast your Prayer of Healing correctly there. And I just missed my haste drop going on, so I just accidentally overhealed with a greater heal. So that was a lot of wasted healing. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Now I am going to switch to Serenity here because the boss is about to come down, and my tanks are going to be the ones that are taking the bulk of it. I also need to get in a better position so we can reach him. Try to grip. That was awful. Yeah, I have to go back to Sanctuary. But hey, this is what I want to do. Just show what I operate. This isn't a very good example of like showing how I play with low mana, but I'm still waiting to drop one more little percent of mana before I fully switch. What we really need to do is stop standing in the bad stuff. Oh, something else that I'm trying to do is, for my AoE, I'm trying to make sure that it's 100% effective, as in it's landing on all 5 or 6 people wherever I'm using it at. Light was next to you, Red. Alright, now I'm going to switch to the Heart Song weapon, because I'm sub 10% and I'm out of cooldowns. But unfortunately the boss died. And I'm actually not out of cooldowns. I still have Guardian Spirit, so I could avoid healing myself up after a shockwave or something, and then, or after a shout and stand in a shockwave, and I would have Spirit of Redemption. I have Desperate Prayer, just came off cooldown, and I still had Hymn of Hope. I hadn't used any of those cooldowns yet. I'd only used Shadow Fiend during that fight. Alright, Spine time, and it's gonna be a fun one tonight because I'm doing it as Holy. Last week I did this fight as Discipline, and the reason I did it was because we had a death the previous week. So, that's what I'm gonna work on tonight, is I'm gonna do it as Holy, and I'm gonna see if I can avoid the wipes. Okay, now the way I'm gonna play mana in this fight, since I'm Holy, is gonna be pretty unique. I'm gonna start in Serenity and probably stay in Serenity, because my justification for that, even when the nukes go off for the when the Almag gets to 9 stacks and he starts doing the the fire AoE before the nuclear blasts, it's gonna be about 3 blasts are gonna go off, which in my mind it could be 6 Prayer of Healings if you just want to like estimate how much you're gonna chain cast something. Those 6 Prayer of Healings will be split across the group at a 15% multiplier. So, I mean, it'd kind of be like for the bang of your buck, instead of like 6 Prayer of Healings, you're getting like a free Prayer of Healing, because 15% of your AoE is also going to be that. And the Sanctuary, some people will justify that you could drop that and like heal it up faster, but the thing is, it's 3 ticks ish. If your DPS does it right and they kill the Almag, it'll only be about 3 ticks of AoE, and that's not going to kill anybody unless they're like sitting at low health from the debuff on them or something. But if that's the case, then AoE healing is not the solution to save them. Fast single target healing on them will save them. So I'm gonna stay in Serenity the whole fight, essentially. If I have to switch for a weird reason, you'll see, I'll do it, but I mean, for now I'm gonna try to stay in Serenity. Now, I think I'm gonna run into the problem of enough healing needs to be done that I can't really do my stance dancing like I've been doing. So far tonight, I've been trying to do instant, 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 and then stance dance, and then cast, instant, 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 stance dance. So that's kind of what I've been doing, but I have a feeling that it's not going to fly in this fight. I need my max throughput. So in order to do max throughput, I'm pretty much going to sit in Inner Will the whole time, because I'll be taking a slight spell power hit, but I'm still on Dispel duty, and I'm going to be casting a lot. The spells are what's going to bleed my mana the most in this fight, instead of hard casts. Now we're still 3 healing this fight, and we're geared enough now that 3 healing it is not an issue. And even when we were doing this the first time, there were 2 of us using our 4-piece set bonus from Firelands. We still didn't have any issues with keeping the debuffs on at least 2 people, and 3 was like out of control for us. If it ever goes to 4, then you have too little healing for this fight. But we've never had that problem. The only time it might get out of control is when we go to do a roll, but when we go to do a roll, we're also blowing Tranquility and Spirit Link, which like eliminates those debuffs pretty quickly. just use Desperate Prayer myself as early as I can, since it's a mana saving cooldown. Crap, we're gonna wipe. I didn't see a red was on red. Sorry about that, that sucked. Those two timers were like right next to each other. Ooh, that sucks. People are watching my channel right now. Kind of. There's a few people whispering me every now and then. Okay, that was a dispel mistake, and it was all me. If you let the red buff go to 0, it's an insta wipe. And what happened is I saw the yellow buff and the red buff, or I saw the yellow buff and I dispelled it onto the tank, and I was like, okay, there's a yellow buff in the tank. I'm not going to dispel him anymore. But he also had the red buff, like he had 2 buffs on him, and I didn't see the red buff, so I realized it like as it reached 1 second to 0, and I froze up and tried to like dispel it as fast as I could, but it was too late. Like I didn't dispel it enough, because I mean, on average it'll take you about 3 dispels per red to get it to turn to a yellow, which is the safe. So that was just bad news. But if I would have noticed it, which I kind of wish I did, I could show how sucky it is to be a priest, because if you were any other class, you could dispel it, and you would have a 50% chance of dispelling the bad buff off of the tank and leaving the yellow on there. But since I'm a priest, it would have eliminated both buffs, because dispel magic takes care of 2 at a time, and then I would have had to jump around again. So okay. Two macros at the start of this fight every time: escape and your cancel macro. There's already a buff going out. I don't understand this, but I'll take it. And it landed on the tank early. Yeah, baby! Okay, I don't exactly know what's going on right now, but for some reason when we started this fight, we had like a debuff going around. I mean, I'll take it, whatever, but it's a weird... That, like, definitely shouldn't have happened. Okay. I should be using, like, Shadow Fiend right now, but I'm not, because there's nothing to cast it on. Because we have to do a complete full stop on the DPS right now on the Almag, and the Almag's health right now, it needs to stay at that fixed level, and the bloods are dying like way too fast for my Shadow Fiend to get any effective casts off on it. So now I'm going to use my Shadow Fiend. And I'm going to save him a hope, because this fight, like, I don't know how much it is now, but we used to do it in like 11 minutes, so. that means I could get off like 2 Hymn of Hopes, but we've already been in combat for about a minute, and then the second Hymn of Hope would come up again when I'm in the middle of that last phase, like in that last final push, and I can't be channeling Hymn of Hope in that last push.
4.
Like waiting for me to dip in health to use Desperate Prayer just now. That's what I was thinking anyway. So that I could wait and do Desperate Prayer. Something I looked on these last couple weeks in the logs was I'm I'm losing like a lot of healing on my my weapon. Because I'm not freaking pointing the right direction. So that's what I'm working on now, is making sure that my weapon is pointing at the like right person. This is one of the few times I'm glad my haste trinket is active now instead of later in the fight, because I need it now for this dispel part. Alright, both tanks are taken care of, the healers all have a buff. I think I never got one to Seth, and I never got one to Atriala. So these are the 2 people that still need a buff, but all the melee have it, so if they cleave, they're safe to cleave. This is actually a pretty good one for debuffs anyway. I just lost a jump. Use Power Word Shield because I'm afraid he might die here. And yes, even though I'm holy, Power Word Shield, once we're at these low health values and someone's attacking you, it's 100% healing that I would have not done otherwise. And if it protects from a death, then it was worth the cast, in my opinion, even though it's a colossal waste of mana. Shadow Fiend's up right now. I'm gonna shoot. I was saying I'm just gonna try to get it on an int proc, but I just lost both of them, so I have 45 seconds until they come back up again. Here we go. Alright. Atriella is a Shadow Priest. He's kind of a hefty dude, so I'm not gonna worry about getting anything on him. He's the one last raid member that I need to get that buff out to. I went to use my mana cooldown just now and freaking gripped, of course. And now we're doing a roll, so I can't. But what that does mean is after I do all my dispels, we're going to be ahead on healing, so I can line it up with him potentially. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna try to one-shot the tentacle. So I'm just gonna blow him a hope right now, and I'm gonna try to. Oh man, we just used a shaman totem as well. So my mana is like way full. I'm gonna try to get my Shadow Fiend out on that thing as fast as humanly possible, and I'm actually gonna switch to red chakra right now. Hit blight will do nothing to you. Oh man, Guardian Spirit didn't save it. Crap! I think we'll be fine. Oh, I tried. Alright, so our warrior tank is kiting right now, which to me means that I need to grip him once. You still have heroic leap, right? After he does his heroic leap and jumps back over here, I'm gonna have to do a life grip on the next when he goes back out again. Ooh, that's not good. Gripped again. Alright. Oh, look at my angel! That's so cool! I was up in the middle of the air. Oh, I just took a screenshot of that. Okay, so that would have been a lot smoother if I was disciplined, because there were a few moments there where if I had shields, I probably could have supped a lot of the damage that was like almost one-shotting people. But whatever. I mean, there's this like constant debate that discipline is always mandatory in heroic modes, and in this tier, when the gear was relevant, discipline was better because the intellect scaled better, but in the next expansion they're trying to do away with the intellect scaling, so you'll see it'll be purely preference, hopefully. And like, this is the one fight in my mind on this, in this zone that you have to be disciplined for if you're one of those people that has to min-max. Like, it's just mandatory that if you have a disc priest in the raid to do it as discipline. gloves from Spine. Yes, we need the gloves. Well, other casters need gloves. I already cast it. It's got the Devo. Maybe I'm just a troll. How would that work? Would I instantly charge you? Or Warrior speculating if he could like spell reflect life grip? I'm switching my other weapon to the start of this. Usually I start this fight in that weapon, and that's because I do DPS on the tentacle, because we're not going to go dip below that sweet spot percentage-wise, 70, because there's a couple DPS starting in this platform, and their big burst is going off on that tentacle instead. So I start on my Rathric, and then when we did our server first kill, I actually switched to Rathric, and it was the 400 level, not the 1600, because we had never killed him, and I used that every time we landed on a new platform, DPS'd him, did my rotation, which I was disciplined for, so that's with Archangel and Atonement. It's also mana neutral, so. And every little DPS number counts, so that proc on the poison, if I could get it to land on him like as soon as I landed on the platform, then got it to proc again near the end of my rotation before I had to start healing because the tentacle had popped up in the water. That's like a little bit more of extra DPS that you could possibly squeeze out in the beginning at the cost of just one global cooldown that you can use as you're jumping between the platforms to switch to that weapon, and then one when you're moving back into place to start healing for the tentacle. And then when it's the same principle when you're collapsing after you kill the tentacle, you'll have like a global, the only person taking damage will be the tank, and if they're at a steady level you can like switch back to your Maw the Dragon Lord weapon, and then when you spread back out again for tentacles after you do your DPS rotation you can switch back again. So I used all three weapons, and then if I died, immediately switch to Heart Song to try to gain back that last mana. Should have waited to see if like that's where the tentacle's actually gonna spawn, because if it's not back there, I hope it's back there. Chill. Hey, 100% effective prayer heal. I'm sitting in I'm sitting in my armor right now for inner fire, and it's because it's like almost 20% reduced damage taken when this tentacle lays on me, and I looked last week to see how I was doing mana-wise. Bracian. I'm rebuffing as I'm running in the air because, and I also switched to Inner Will to make sure that I would save some mana when I was like rebuffing. So that's what I was doing just now. Better in between those two. Beware. Surge of light talks. Man, I almost missed that precast on our tank just now. Like, it was on him, and I just... Stupid Shadow Fiend. I just like wasted a bunch of mana just then. I'm in the wrong chakra stance. I was like, why am I not doing this heal correctly? Wow, these nerfs are overdone. Like, we barely took any damage just then. Usually I have to, like, we used to have a cooldown rotation on that part. Like, I would blow my barrier. Well. Oh, okay. 9 seconds left on that stupid piece of crap Shadow Fiend. The timing feels a little off on me because I'm not used to having veiled shadows, and, like, yeah, my Shadow Fiend just came up, and my end proc was ready, but I'm like, oh, right now, it should be up, right? Maybe? Is it too early? Crap. Frog! Light bulb, where are you? Come on, get out of the middle. Come on, power twin proc! Ugh. I really needed that power torrent proc to top back up again. Let's see how I'm doing at the end of this fight, or at the end of this platform, because that's. I mean, really, I feel like I can stay mana neutral with all these nerfs until this platform is where it gets clutch. Kind of delayed there for that heal because Sanctuary, I wanted it to line up with that AoE camp coming out and our cooldown that just went down. That's why I like delayed on it. So that's an example of some bad light bulb placement. Okay, I'm sitting at half. I could do. I've been better. So I'm sitting at half. Hymn of Hope, I think, is going to come back up soon. It's got like a minute, maybe? No, it's up right now. Well. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and use it, because the next lowest person is Atriala, and it's the three of us. And I'm in the wrong armor, I hope this thing doesn't pick me. Okay, let's place Lightwell. Definitely want to be in my other armor right now. Click flame. So she's supposed to be taking that. Okay, I'm gonna sit on Divine Hymn right now. I was gonna see whether my druid used it. He did. So what that means is we're probably going to come up just short on a cooldown near the end of this platform. And if I do it right, his Tranquility will be up again for the end of the fight, and we won't have any problems for the part. I'm so not used to this. I'm stuck in the wrong chakra stance, there's nothing I can No! Light roll! Is it off cooldown? Nope, people were clicking it. I'm proud of this raid. Right, got an int proc to go off right before I Divine Hymn. Perfect. Alright, int proc, get over there, drop your fiend, I gotta get my fiend in on this thing. Okay, my fiend's attacking right now, what I'm trying to do is get another int proc, so I'm fishing for it. And it's not gonna happen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Libel's right behind you guys. No! Man, that guy was fast. He got through. One got through. That ish is not okay if you are doing this on unnerfed content. There's some use if I can use. Gosh, it's just true. Divine Hymn is up, so I'm switching chakra stances, and I'm going to use it right here. And I'm using it more as a mana cooldown than anything else right now. DPS, what are you doing? Can't let these things get through. Ooh, and I'm gonna time this mana-wise perfectly. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. That's what I like to see. How many bloods did we let through just now? Goodness. Oh, that was freaky. Oh, here's the DPS on a typical madness kill for us. Yep, just like vodka. I haven't been switching to show people that I've actually been staying at low spirit between fights, but 17-16, I'm still running at very, very small mana. guess I'm not gonna have any problems when I do Jaspers for the day. Okay. So ends another week. Now next week, I better ask. Hey Racing, can I do Shadow next week? Okay, I'm trying to confirm. What I'm going to try to do next week is I'll be Shadow, but the fights that I will probably have to heal are going to be Spine, and I'll probably have to heal Madness and situationally. Okay, confirmation. I'm gonna try to run all the fights as Shadow next week, except for Spine and Madness. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to do Madness. We'll talk about it, because we've been 2-tanking it. We could always go back to a 1-tank strategy in the fight. But what that means is the fights will be 2 healed by a Druid and a Shaman. I'll be doing Shadow Deeps on everything, and my Holy Paladin. Or Paladin will probably go Holy in some fights, I don't know, it depends. But basically, I'll be demonstrating DPS as Shadow instead of doing this from a healer perspective for once. So that's what we're looking for next week. Hopefully people got some good information out of this week's educational lesson on how to play with no mana. Basically, the extra tricks that aren't as obvious is cancel casting. There are 2 types: wait till the very end of your cast and move, or if it's something that's like an Impale or a Dragon Breath or whatever, that kind of a mechanic, cast and cancel as soon as it starts casting, and when you see the timer lined up with the timer front and center like I do, I have DBM lined up right on top of the heal, and if I have someone targeted and they're casting a heal like myself, it's right next to it, so I can line up my pre-casted heal, and then I'll cancel a couple times until it lines up so it'll hit, the heal will land immediately after the big damage. So those are the 2 types of cancel casting. I work with my mastery. Since I don't have any spirit, it's currently reforged to 26% extra direct healing from my mastery, so that's really absurdly high. That's because everything's reforged away from spirit, so I let my mastery do a lot of the healing, which means if I crit and someone's low on health, if I crit on them, I'll make the judgment call whether I should just stop healing entirely and let my Echoes of Light, since they just got twice the bang for their buck. I'm just going to let that tick till the end of its 6-second duration, and then make another judgment call whether I need to heal them up again. I game Surge of Light, which means if I get a Surge of Light proc and cast, I'll wait until the very end of Serendipity, and I'll try to game another Surge of Light proc out of that. If I get another Surge of Light proc, then I'll cast, and then I'll try to cancel cast as soon as possible to get the greater heal to be 100% effective, because I don't want to cast another heal and get another Surge of Light proc, because then that puts me in that weird situation where I have 2 stacks of Serendipity and I have a Surge of Light, and the most mana effective thing to do is to drop your greater heal and then use the Surge of Light. So you don't want to overstack them. Then the next expansion, this will be a lot easier because Surge of Light can stack 2 times, but for now, that's how you have to play Surge of Light games. And then I also do a lot of dancing, so I'm in this stance, I'm casting all my instant, and then I jump back to Inner Fire, and then cast direct heals, and then when everything's coming back off again, I'll go back to my Inner Will stance. Now, when you're switching between armors, there's no mana cost, so that global cooldown is extra time that your mana is regenerating. You're getting bigger heals and potential crit heals on your Inner Fire level heal than you would if you were in Inner Will, slightly, but it's a min-maxing thing. And your instants are all taking that reduced mana cost because you're in Inner Will for your instant refreshes. And the timers when you're in Serenity kind of all line up, I noticed, like pretty close to the same time if you are doing like a rotation where you're doing like Serenity, Mending, or something, and then Circle of Healing, which is like entirely optional. But, so that's like another thing I'm doing. I didn't have to do this tonight, but if I was getting low on mana, I could Spirit of Redemption and have like just mana-free heals. I took Veiled Shadows, and that means I'm not going to line up my Shadow Fiend as much with Hymn of Hope, because I can try to maximize getting it in 2 times per fight. Let's see what else I did for mana this time. Desperate Prayer. That's my last mana saving button. Instead of using Desperate Prayer for a clutch time, basically whenever I'm like sub 50% health, and 30 is like technically how much healing it does, but Desperate Prayer also gives, it gives Echoes of Light, so that's a lot of healing in an Echoes of Light because it's an instant 30 heal, and if it crits, it's going to go into overhealing. So I kind of like judge from about 50%, I'll use Desperate Prayer to save mana. And I didn't take Divine Touch or Rapid Renewal, and I try to avoid using Renew unless it's 100% effective. Like the 2 holy videos ago, when I had those talents, I would pretty much like use Renew immediately for that instant heal, and then maybe go and heal some more, which would lead to a ton of overhealing, but that kind of playstyle is more about like keeping people alive than saving mana. So those are 2 different playstyles. I didn't do anything as Discipline tonight, but basically my Angelus Rapture cooldown in the other videos, like you can see like how that works. That's how I stay ahead of mana on Discipline, is I just have like really close Rapture timing. And I also do that same game. I usually sit in Inner Fire most of the time as Discipline because I'm never in danger of going out of mana. And basically, in my mind, if you have the mana to throw around, just sit in Inner Fire the whole time instead of saying, well, Inner Will scales better with your mana over time. You can min-max by getting extra spell power, because in my mind, if you finish the fight with mana, then you could have like done more healing if you would have like used more expensive heals. You can also see this a couple videos ago when I actually had Spirit as holy. It's like when we get near the end of the fight, I'll start doing things like Serendipity bombing the room or something, just to drain my mana and end the fight with 0 and make sure there's no last second deaths or something like that. Those are the tricks I was using tonight, which may not be as obvious on first glance. And next week I'm doing this as Shadow. I'll probably be Shadow Disc because I'm probably going to do Spine and Madness as Discipline, so I'll go back to that. And then that's it. That's the last week of our clears, because we have 1 more mount drop for a Raider, and then we're done with the mounts off of Deathwing. What I'm probably going to do is see if I can't absorb this particular tune into another raid at this time, but if that doesn't happen, I will either be raiding with a Druid. It still remains to be seen if it's Balance or Resto, or I have a Paladin, Holy Paladin, a Blood Death Knight, a Rogue, a Mage, and a Warlock that are all raid ready if we need to do that. And then in a week, I could probably get enough gear to get a Shaman doing this as well. So it's not like our official group, which is the one that I'm raiding in right now, is going to end in a week, but that doesn't mean that the live streams won't be just cut out entirely. It just means I'll probably be doing something different at this time slot instead of doing our normal group Madness clear. Cool. Anyway, thanks for tuning in again. I hope this is informative, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. So.